So we worked a little bit uh, towards the creation of the world class, and I did some eating, taking out garbage, cleaning up, getting ready for tomorrow's work. And I'm probably still going to be up because I took a nap earlier, which ruins my sleep, I think. I don't know. But I'm going to be up till like 4 or 5. So I don't know if this is going to be a long stream. I just want to get this kind of going and see how this will work out, at least the beginning of it. So we're going to start a brand new file here. So let's go file new. We can go with a header file because we're going to do a class in there. So the background stars, okay. We should probably start with something like this. And I'm even wondering if, just now, I'm just thinking if I could just inherit this. Because it has the shader, you know? I'm just wondering, Bum, 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 bum. But this, doing it the way that I was originally thinking of when I started this stream just a second ago is going to be a good exercise because I'm going to have to create new shaders that will work for both. So let's just go with that. It's kind of tempting to leave this in the code and then have the world class inherit this class. But that feels like, because this shader and the planets and moons, the 2D solar system, and then the voxels, I feel like they could all share a shader. And so let's just do this for me as an exercise, and we'll keep it going. So we'll copy this. These defines. Those are just constants. Let's go like this. Let's go world class. Okay, so we're going to have whoops. See, now this looks like if I just refresh or come back or whatever, it's actually going to have a response there. I'm not a human. Oh, see it? Glad I copied that. Let's just copy and paste that in. This right here. Using accessor functions can help you to change the internal implementation of your class without affecting the rest of your code, as long as the interface remains the same. So I should really take that into account. I really haven't in my previous use of C++ classes. It's because I'm so used to structures. And when they implemented structures, they made them identical to classes, except for classes the data is by default private, and with structures the data is by default public. So I've been so used to that for so long, and because structures were created first in the C++ specifications. So yeah, so I should probably start with that too. So okay, that's fine. I'll learn a new C++ skill. So let's save this one, and let's call it class Planetary. I don't know that that's going to be. Let's just call it class world 1. Or do you want to call it class space trader? There, class space trader world 001. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm yawning. That's good. The whole point of me doing this is trying to keep myself or get myself tired so that I will sleep and get some good night rest. So this might be a short stream, but I want to at least get some of this going. So let's think about this here. So if we want to, pardon me. So what did we say? Where was the stuff here? Okay, so check if the save file exists, load the current game and skip initialization. If not initialized, then save. Okay, so saving is a thing too. That's gonna be probably a whole stream, maybe 2 streams. I don't know, I haven't done anything with saving for years. It's been a long time because I really haven't done anything that's been major. I should probably remind myself too that there's thumbnails and then there's thumbnail faves, so that when I finish this stream, what's going to be the thumbnail? That might be the thumbnail for this stream on YouTube. Okay, so background stars, back to this. Stay focused here, Jeff. So what we need is the same thing that this needs, really. Well, that's a class, but I'm using it as a structure in an array. And I'm using it with public and, oh, this might as well be just a structure. Jeff, you're insane. You are literally insane. Okay, are we thinking about this right? We don't need the thing there. So the init code for this, check if the save file is load current game, skip initialization, if not initialize and save. Init the background stars, init the solar system, init the area. What else do we need to do? For the world, we need to init the galaxy. Init galaxy. Solar system, init area. So that's going to be either the planet, moon, or asteroid. Okay, alright. I'm just laying this all out for myself. Alright. So that's good. And then really, if we're initializing the world and we're not loading from a save file, that means that we're just beginning with the player. So we want to have a function to init the player like the player's location. But wouldn't that be in the player? Or what? No. Init, let's call it init player location, like that, or however that's going to work. And then we actually do need save game state. Okay. Might as well make it a little bit more like we're doing code. There we go. So it's just kind of pseudocode, but still. So what we want to do in this, in the world class, is we're going to have an initialization function. And we can inherit the shader, that's fine. Sorry, it's been a few days since I've written code. Actually, it's been quite a few days because I spent the last quite a bit of time actually working on this game design document, which has really been good as far as building up my motivation to want to make the game, because I think it'll be a fun game to play now. It'll be fun to see it take shape from starting from scratch like this too. So functions. Okay. So let's call this one initialization. World init? Does that work? Or init world? I think world init is fine. Computer, did I not just... There we go. What was that? Okay, whatever. So in here is where we're going to do all the stuff that I was just talking about. Okay, there will be some things that we'll do. Excuse me. Oh, I'm so glad I'm getting a little bit tired. That's good. That is good. Okay, so we're going to check if the save file exists. So let's check if save file exists. Okay. If it exists, load current game and skip init. Okay. Else, initialize world, then save. Okay. So I think we should have a world save function, because that's going to be a function that is pretty universally needed, I think. So world, and I'm just putting this together. I'm not really, or I'm just getting the outline going so that at least I know what I'm doing. Gonna have to do, okay, initialize world, then save. Okay, so now we got this written out. So the initialization is going to be Well, no matter what, we're going to need the background stars initialized, so we can put that up here. So if there is a save, then we'll load the galaxy, we'll load the solar system, and we'll load the current area. Okay. And then so when we go to save, so yeah, each thing will have a boolean whether it'll be already generated or not. And if it's already generated, we can just save it. That's fine. Player location, save state, save game state. Okay, so this is basically going to be our pseudocode for the initialization. I know I'm being kind of meticulous or whatnot, you might say, but I feel like doing the game design document has kind of brought out a meticulous OCD in me that I really should have. There's kind of like more of a thinking about how this is going to work before just doing it, I guess. Initialize world, then save, so that's right there. Bum 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 bum. Does that look right? That looks weird, but right. So, alright. I like that. Initialize the world, then save. So then initialize the galaxy, initialize the solar system. So that's going to be interesting too, because the idea of the galaxy I never really have put into the game yet. So at this point, this is new. And the solar system, the area, the player location, all that stuff, everything I'm good with, but the galaxy is going to be... We might even not even do the galaxy initially in the demo. So it'll be, everything will take place within one galaxy, which seems fine, really. But I could see eventually having a galaxy. Oops, what are we doing? What are we doing? Okay. So we're leaving the idea of the galaxy out for now. Command decision. What I did previously with the background stars, the planets and moons, and the voxel worlds. What I did previously with the background stars, planets and moons, and the voxel worlds, all being in separate classes with separate shaders. Is not what I'm going to do this time. I'm going to put all three elements into one class, and one, they will share a common shader. The background stars are just colored points. Oh, I also want to include the random floating ship parts, which would go nicely with the background stars. as they are just textured points. The planets, moons, and asteroids can be drawn with textured points and lines. Ba-bum. Uh-oh. Sorry, I'm singing. The planets, moons, and asteroids can be drawn with the textured points and lines. So that's relative. That's very easy to share shaders. In the solar system view, while the player is piloting the ship. Sorry. As for when the player lands in an area, planet, moon, or asteroid, the voxels are drawn with instanced rendering and that's not I like this. Sounds like a good plan to have all three elements, the background stars, planets, moons, and asteroids, and the voxel worlds, in one class and share a common shader. By doing this, you reduce the complexity of your code and make it easier to manage. Oh. Using texture points and lines to draw the planets, moons, and asteroids in the solar system, you will be more efficient in drawing 3D models for each object. Yeah, it's also just, yeah, thank you. And using instance rendering for the voxel worlds will also be efficient and allow for a large number of objects to be rendered on screen. Yeah, cool. Overall, combining these elements in one class and using a common shader will simplify your code and make it easier to maintain in the long run. Okay, so great. Why didn't I do this before? Okay, so world save. All right. Load the current game and skip it. Okay, so we're also going to need a world load. World load. World love. Let's go with world love. That's what the world needs. So we have init, save, and load. That's good. That's cool. Okay, and then once we figure out exactly what we're going to save and load from each one of these things, so what we're going to need is, for the data, let's put the data down here. Wait, what was that? I don't know. So we'll need like a structure for the galaxy. Actually, we're leaving the galaxy out for the solar system. A structure for planets, moons, and asteroids. Structure for trading stations. Actually, we're not going to put that in yet, but that will be what we need. So, alright. Let's put a note on that, right? Put a note right there on that. Structure for trading stations. Not yet. Let's put that like YET. Like that. Structure planets, moons, and asteroids. That's cool. And so for the world, the solar system, yeah. And then we'll also need, we're going to need an array. Well, a structure for stars in the background. Stars. And we'll need an array of 100 of these. Okay. Structure for the solar system. That will also contain areas. So structure for planets, moons, and asteroids, that should be, let's call it locations. Planets, moons, and asteroids. So structure for the solar system, which would contain locations. Okay, that's cool. Okay, that is coming. Okay, so planets, moons, and asteroids, and then locations. Wait, yeah, the trading station, okay, location. So, yeah. That's really good. Okay, we're also going to need, because like what we've got with the background stars, we're going to need data specific to implementing those each of those three particular elements. And then we're also going to need the VAOs and VBOs for each. And then we're going to need the shader for each of them. So the world, does the world inherit shader? Yeah. Or no, we're not going to need a shader for each because it's still okay, I'm just thinking too much here. That's fine. So actually just one VBO, one VAO. That's kind of good. And we're going to call it world VBO. And we're going to call this the world VAO. That's got a good ring to it. There we go. That's cool. Ba-bum, bum, ba-bum, bum, ba-bum, bum. I think I might take a break for juice. So it's been almost a half an hour, and I just bought some fresh big apples and some celery I want to run through the juicer. So I will be right back. Let me see what I can put up here. Anything interesting for you guys to watch? I could probably put up the game chops. Here, we can go with the game chops. And I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Where are we at here? Can we move that? We have to pause it to click on it, whatever. Oh, and it's not even moving. Why? There we go. Okay. And that has been an interlude from Game Chops via YouTube. Thank you. So I was thinking a little bit more about this, and the render function is going to be a little bit more robust, but that's not that bad at all. So we will have a render function, of course. And we'll have to think about the parameters for that. Excuse me, so also the VAO and VBO. Because usually when we draw, like when we draw the solar system, that's going to be the background stars. And then on top of that, we're going to draw the planets and moons and asteroids and the ship. Oh, I see. Well, I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but init VAO VBO. All right. This is the init, yeah, of the world itself. Excuse me. So we're going to have a function for initializing the textures. Well, that's going to be the thumbnail for this one. Let's open a new file explorer. There we go. So the textures, again, we're just going to use this. We're going to use the asteroids. We're going to use these for the stars. These will be cool. And we don't have to focus on just these ones. You can use all of them and just, you know. That'll be cool. Maybe initially they don't do anything different, but eventually they will do something different, and they'll be cool. As far as functional cool. Anyways. Alright. So that's cool. The textures. Okay, so we'll fill in all that code. This is all stuff that I've done before, and I'm just thinking about when I do the VAO VBO how that's going to work, but that's going to be pretty interesting because I think I'd be able to have the background stars, the lines and points for the planets, and then the voxel stuff. I don't know, that's going to be a challenge, but it'll be fun to figure it out. And if we do have to have two separate shaders, so be it. Or two separate sets of VA vertex array objects and vertex buffer objects, then we can have sets of those. That's fine. So what else do we need? Init data, render cleanup, and update data. Oh yeah, okay. So we'll need a world cleanup, that's fine. We'll just call it that right there. And then the area, so there's a world render, okay. And then this one, the update data, that got the input from the ship from the main program. Which is another way of making, like this data doesn't have to be public. So, anyways, so we'll have a world, and we'll just, are we going to call it area update or update? Let's call it area update because that is going to be like whatever area or location you're showing, then it's going to be, that particular area is going to be updated. Hey Tanver362, thanks for the follow. World area update, and so like whatever, or location update? Location update. Area update's fine. You can tell I'm thinking too much about this, but okay, so the structure for the stars, and we can do this differently than I've done it in the past too, because the background stars and the planets and moons and stuff, and the player moving around. I'm just thinking about how it's all going to work, and how I did it before. Let's go. Oh, that juice was good. Okay, so. Okay, what else we got? Okay, so with the planets, init data, clean up nearest palette. Okay, so color stuff, not a big deal. So the blocks, we did have the vertices hard-coded in here, that's fine. Gen food, gen fuel, gen oxygen. See, then we get into the particular areas. The world class, excuse me, the world class deals mostly with, oh right, well that'll be when we introduce resources. I was going to say, right now it's just dealing exclusively with rendering. And just, we're going to get the world down so that we can move around, and we can jump from area to area. We can go back to the 2D world and explore other planets and see the different moons and find those, and we'll have the ship interact with those, and we'll start adding a little bit of polish after we get that going, because I do want that, the transportation through the systems between locations to look really nice. So position, color, scale, temp blocks, okay, palette points, roof, see layer, index, okay. So init data, init render, cleanup, update data, update palette, get block, place, house. Okay, yeah. So I think we're doing pretty well. With the exception of not having these in there, which is fine. These are texture coordinates. So that's the position texture coordinates. Okay, good. All right, so the data here. So probably one of the first things I'll do is I'll put in the background stars and get those to render. And then I'll put in some information for a solar system that has planets, moons, and asteroids. And then I'll get those to render on top of that. And then I'll put in, then we'll switch between that view, which shows the background stars, and the 2D interface for movement. So that'll be one view. And then we'll switch to the other view, which is landing on an area. So maybe we could have a Boolean for that particular view. That would be good. Okay, so which view? Why don't we call it show map or show solar system? So if show solar system is true, then the person's in the 2D interface navigating the solar system. If it's false, then they, or we could do an enum, because that's a lot cooler. But I forgot how to do an enum, so hold on. There you go. Enum class. Excuse me. Oh, look at that. That's great. Okay, so what does it say? In this example, we're using an enum class to create a strongly typed enum, which is recommended in modern C++ as it provides type safety and helps prevent errors. You can then use the enum to determine which view to display based on the user's input or game state. Perfect. Perfect. So can I just put this right inside my class here? Boop. View mode is what it's called. Solar system map, voxel world. Alright, ChatGPT is adding to my knowledge. Yes. Okay, that's cool. And then view mode, current view mode equals view mode, solar system map. User input equals 1, current view mode equals view mode, solar system map. Else if user input 2, current view mode equals view mode. Oh, I see. So do we want to have this inside our class or outside? Can we put this outside and use it inside? So then we'll have a particular, because what that is a type, right? Yeah, view mode is then the type. So now I just created type view mode. And we'll just call it current view mode. And default we'll set it to solar system map. Okay, there we go. Can we do that? Or should we wait and do that in the init? Oh, that's fine. That's cool. So is there anything wrong with that? Up to this point, I really haven't worried about compiling, but because I just wanted to know now if that is proper. We don't even have this class being included yet, so let's include the class. Okay, scary part, here we go. Compile it. I don't think it'll do anything if I run it. In fact, it might crash. Should have just compiled it instead of run it. Computer? Oh. Yeah. Okay, so the only errors are because of those stuff that's missing. Oh, we have errors in here. Missing type specifier. Oh, these are all voids. Sorry. My bad. And I didn't specify that these are all voids. Those bad. Those bad, Jeff. Click home, Control V. Click home, Control V. There we go. Does that work? Is that better? Let's just go build solution. Computer? Hold on. Solar system map identifier not found. Oh, because when ChatGPT told me to use it, view mode : right, because that's a particular, that's a whatchamacallit identifier. Is that right? It's got squigglies, but I think that's fine. What else? Oh good, then it moves on to that. So go build solution. Failed. But there's nothing in that particular file that is wrong, so we're good. Okay, good. So I learned a little bit more about the enum. It is a type, and then you also have to do the, that's like a scope resolution. Right. Yeah, the scope resolution. Okay. Surprised I remembered that. All right, well, that juice was really good. Juice before work tomorrow. That's gonna be good. Okay, so I'm feeling a little bit more energetic, although I can tell I am gonna go to sleep soon. What's that? It's just hitting an hour. Let's go until an hour 15. Let's see if we can do so we're definitely going to have inside here, we're going to have the structure for the stars, whereas in here it's just this. It's position, color, and size, and that is what gets sent, and then the shader is 3D star, 2D points, background of stars. See, so space background star. Yeah, we might actually be calling it a night here, but I just want to look at these shaders real quick just to get my brain thinking about it. Background stars 107 VS. So right here we're sending in the position, vector 2, vector 4 is a color, and a size is a float. So looking at the other shaders for the 2D points, lines, and so Space Planet 111. Space planets, excuse me. So vector 2, 3 color, 3 AGST, that's grid size type. But yeah, we can be a little bit more obvious with the variable names here as well. So vector 2 position, vector 3 color, and then a grid size type, versus here where it's just a size. So we can include all of that stuff and then have a vector 4 color. How come it's a vector 4 color for the stars? So anyways, vector 4 color, really? They're all just one right here. So I don't understand why. I don't understand why I did a vector 4. So we don't really need it. we don't need it. So vector 3, and of course then they're all compatible because vector 2 position, they're the same, vector 3 color, and then this vector 3 can be grid size type. So the planets can use grid size type, the stars can just use size. You can also include a type for the stars to display either a star or a space part with the texture. And then we can also use the type. Okay, so that's fine. That is going to be great. And then the other thing that we wanted to look at, whoops, where's that other shader? So for the 3D block, Space Cube 120 VS, Space Cube 120 VS. Let's look at that real quick. See, this stuff this has a lot, but these are the this is the instance. So vector 3 position, vector 2 text chord. Oh, is this going to mess us up? Are we going to have 2 shaders? Position, color, scale. So we might have 2 different shaders because of the way that this one receives data and uses it with the instance rendering. So let's ask ChatGPT. Let's go back to where, imagine you're a C++ programmer and an OpenGL game dev programmer. So the background stars and the planets, moons, and asteroids will all be shown in the 2D interface. Which is a straightforward render. Points, lines, textured points. Okay. The voxels on the 3D planets are instance rendered, which means the shader receives data in a different format. One format. A combined format for the instance, and then a combined format with a part for the instance, and then part for the instances. Between the two render, what's it called? Between the two render, what's the word I'm looking for? Between the two render contexts. Thank you, Jeff. Yes. It is possible to share a shader between different render contexts, including between the 2D and 3D render contexts in your game. One approach is to use a shader with conditional compilation based on a preprocessor macro. For example, you could define a preprocessor macro in your C++ code that indicates which rendering context is currently active, and then use the if directives in your shader code to selectively compile the parts of the shader that are relevant for the active rendering context. Alternatively, you could define separate shaders for the 2D and 3D rendering context, but factor out any common code into separate shader files that can be shared between the two. This can help reduce code duplication and simplify maintenance. I'm not sure I quite understand how this would work. Okay. I think that's right. It would probably be unless I send in the data, yeah, and it just gets complicated after that because then you're dealing with where is your data at based on trying to, yeah, okay, all right. So we're gonna have two separate shaders. So the world class will have two separate shaders, which is crazy because there's one shader class that it inherits. So actually what's the shader M2? Shader M2, yeah, fast and geometry. Okay, so let's look at that real quick. Oh, can we open that? Oh good, it found it. Okay, glad found it. So shader, it just has an ID, and then it loads the shader. Load shaders, okay. It has the use function which uses an ID. Everything else takes and uses the ID. Okay. So if we wanted to use two separate shaders, we could change this class. We could change this class or create a second class that would have two shaders. That's a good idea. Okay. That's a whole nother stream. That sounds like a good plan. With separate shaders, you can more easily customize the rendering for each type of object in your game. It also makes it easier to manage and maintain your code as each shader comes in. Creating a custom class for the world class will also help to encapsulate the functionality of the shaders and make it easier to use them in your game code. Yeah, and any other time that I come up with like another class, like the world class, where there's two different types of rendering, like in this case, straightforward rendering and instance rendering. Or something else in the future that I am not privy to or aware of or whatever, then that would be useful. I kind of want to work on that tonight, but let's mull on that for a little bit. All of these will just take an extra parameter of ID. There'll be 2 IDs, and there'll be load shaders will have as many parameters as necessary, in this case 4 parameters for the first vertex and fragment shader and the second vertex and fragment shader, and then it will load both. And then there will just be, yeah, and then the U's will take an ID 1 or 2. All these set will set whatever will take an ID 1 or 2, and it will specify which ID based on that. And that should be very, very straightforward to do. So, okay, that's cool. That is really cool. Alright, well, given that we figured that out, let's call it a night. Although, if I didn't have to work tomorrow, I would keep working on this. So, anyways, oh, thanks everybody. I'm gonna floss, brush my teeth, shower, get ready for bed, and go to bed. And there's just a few people watching, and I don't think there's anybody I want to, don't think there's anybody I need to raid. Maybe we could raid Cake Z. He's always having a good time. You guys know Cake Z? He's having a time right now. Fucking
hate that shit.
Where's Cake Z?
It's stupid. It shouldn't happen. It's crazy that a fucking plugin to OBS can cause these issues. And they don't give a shit about fixing them.
Watch out, guys.
They rather work on translations than fucking fixing a fucking crash.